Okay, guys, it's Among Us 3DS moment. As you can see, we've got the 3DS. We've got the Among Us. Please don't copyright strike me. Is that Dr. Disrespect?